Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. For the record, I am Professional Standards Division Director Catherine McAlpine. I will be chairing this meeting on behalf of Michael Fletcher, who is unavailable. This is the Telecommunications Policy Committee meeting. This is a public meeting, subject to public meeting law, and it will be digitally recorded. Deliberation of issues will only be conducted by the Telecommunications Policy Committee members, unless permitted by the chair. Remember to always state your name for the record. For cases dealing with denial or revocation, only information contained in the staff report can be considered once the staff report is adopted. Assumptions, outside knowledge, or personal experiences should not be included in any discussion. Individuals who engage in disruptive behavior that impedes official business will be asked to stop being disruptive or leave the meeting. Additional measures may be taken to have disruptive individuals removed if their continued presence poses a safety risk to the other persons in the room or makes it impossible to continue the meeting. And with that, staff will conduct roll call.
We can go around the room and introduce everyone, then we can go online.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Again, for the record, and acting as chair is Catherine McAlpine, DPSST Professional Standards Director.
Melissa Langbacho, I'm a Professional Standards Case Manager here at DPSST.
Eric Riddell, Criminal Justice Office Specialist with DPSST.
Elby Ryan, Executive Assistant, DPSST.
Samantha Costa, Executive Support, DPSST.
Jennifer Howell, DPSST Legislative and Administrative Coordinator. Deputy Director.
Brian Henson, Deputy Director, DPSST.
And when I call out your name online, can you please introduce yourself? We'll start with member Antoine.
Rosa Antoine, APCO representative.
Member Bell.
Hello, I'm Gary Bell. I'm Chief of Police, City of LeGrand, representing the Oregon Association Chiefs of Police.
Member Joyce.
Good morning, Sean Joyce, Director of the Northern Command Center with the Oregon State Police.
Member Thomas.
Hello, my name is Les Thomas. I am Fire Chief Sheridan Fire District and representing OFCA.
Member Long.
Good morning, Rebecca Long, representing the Oregon Health Authority EMS Trauma Systems Office.
Member Thurber.
Brianne Thurber, Washington County 911.
And Member Griffin.
Hi, Rhonda Griffin, Communications Manager, LeGrand Police Department, representing EMS.
Thank you. And if I could get somebody to approve the November 1st, 2023 meeting minutes in a second as well.
This is Les Thomas. Recommend approve the meeting minutes, please.
Do we have a second?
Gary Bell, I will second.
Thank you.
All right, we are voting on a motion to approve the November 1st, 2023 meeting minutes. Committee Member Griffin.
Aye.
Committee Member Joyce.
Aye.
Committee Member Antoine.
Aye.
Committee Member Long.
Aye.
Committee Member Thurber.
Aye.
Committee Member Thomas.
Aye.
And Committee Member Bell.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to Professional Standards Case Manager.
Thank you. Melissa Langbacho for the record. The department has an administrative closure recommendation on a consent agenda for the committee's consideration today. We're looking for a motion to approve or disapprove the recommendation.
Gary Bell, I move that we approve.
Thurber,
Les
Rebecca Long,
Thomas, I
I can
second.
second.
Okay, we have a first and second, Steph, roll call.
All right, we are voting on a motion to approve the administrative closures. Committee member Griffin,
Aye.
committee member Joyce,
Aye.
committee member Antoine,
Aye.
committee member Long,
Aye.
committee member Thurber,
aye.
committee member Thomas,
Aye.
and committee member Bell.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. At this time, I will turn it over to the professional standards case manager for the next review.
We have, first up, Roderick Hogan.
We're even line the audio has stopped because I think.
Oh. We're just waiting for, Mr. Hogan to come and, present, verbal mitigation before we start introducing the case.
Good morning, Mr. Hogan.
Morning, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Just a reminder, you do have 5 minutes. The timer will go when you begin. And at this time, you have the floor.
Okay. Is she gonna say something or shall I?
Oh,
And go over,
hold on,
sorry.
Mr. Hogan.
Do you want me to introduce the case and say why we opened it first, or do you want him to just?
That probably would be helpful. Thank you.
Well, let's plain talk for the record. DPSST opened a professional standards case for Roderick Hogan after receiving notification of a complaint at the time of his separation. The department reviewed the information obtained and identified conduct that fit into the category of misconduct. The department identified harm in that Mr. Hogan harmed a caller by berating her and dismissing the signs of domestic violence, which put the caller in jeopardy for her safety. And that his conduct during both calls associated with the complaints received harmed the efficient operation of the Washington County Consolidated Communications 911 agency. Mr. Hogan is here to give a verbal mitigation statement.
Mr. Hogan, now at this time, you have 5 minutes and the timer will start. Yeah.
No problem. Again, should I say something or will you guys?
Fran, I believe you're going to state for the record, you could do that before or after the mitigation.
I can state
I'm
it.
sorry for it. I noticed that Rand Thurber is on this as well, and she works for WACA and was actually involved in another incident prior. So I feel that there will be bias or prejudice against in this decision. So is this going against my time?
We'll start whenever you're ready to
Okay.
get going.
Well, I'm ready to get going. I just want to know if that will be addressed prior to doing this or.
No, your time is now.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yeah. So first and foremost, thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and be able to explain myself. This is 2 years in the making. And I've been sitting wondering what is going to happen with this. And I only received what actually was the specific issue a month and a half ago. So it was very stressful sitting and waiting for 2 years to figure out what this was about. Having said that, I want to be very, very clear, because one of the things that it states here is that I resigned from WACA while under investigation. No, I resigned from WACA due to their toxic, horrible, and unprofessional environment. Also, I don't know how I could resign while under investigation without being given notice of investigation. This first complaint happened 8 days prior to my separation. Their policy is 7 days. They didn't complete that. And this other one apparently happened on the day that I left. I was not made aware of that one either. First time that I have had knowledge of what this was about, again, a month and a half ago, given by the state's letter. So I do not recall the vehicle abatement call, nor do I recall this DV call. I did receive the records because I pulled my file from WACA and read it and saw that a employee was the one who was making the complaint about it as well. And again, the issue with Rand Thurber and that thing was also an employee brought that up, and they didn't do their due diligence and listen to the tape. And that one was vacated or didn't start. And another reason why I'm here before you is because I've been in public service since I was 16, both here and the state of California. I'm a man of my word. As you see, I'm not a Brady issue. I also handle my business. So if this was to happen while I was there, as it should have happened, I would have handled it. That's why 2 years later, I'm sitting in front of you handling it now. I could have just got rid of this, moved on with my life. That's not the person I am, and that's not the public servant I am as well. So again, I just want to be very clear. I did not leave while under investigation or because I was under investigation. I had no knowledge of any investigation. So how can I leave due to that? I left because I got a new job that was better for my mental health, my well-being, and my family's sake. And that's what happened. This other claim with this DV call about berating, I was an FTO, hostage negotiator, and post-certified in interview and interrogation. I can submit all that stuff to you. I know how to talk to people. Sometimes you talk to people in different senses that some might think it's not, or not the right way. And the reason why I bring that up is because sometimes you have to be a little bit direct with people to get the information you need, including when there's a serious event like domestic violence. And I have given you a clear example of that in the written litigation that I've sent you that I dealt with personally. Again, this having to deal with another employee, just like the last one, was taken out of context. So I don't know, and I've not heard this tape. I do not know what context this is being taken into. So I cannot speak on it. But again, WACA has an issue with taking things out of context and doing this because it's happened to me as well. Other than that, again, I just want to give you or say thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and speak, to finally clear this up after 2 years. And again, I could have let this go, but I didn't because that's who I am. I handle my business and I'm handling it now, right? I left. I had no knowledge of these, nor was I given any. And if I would have stayed and handled it before I separated. That's all I can really say. I hope that everybody looks into everything and hears my side, and that's all I can do. So I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm submitted.
At this time, Ms. Herbert, did you want to make a statement before we go into discussion?
Yes, I wanted to address the conflict of interest. It's going to be a perceived conflict of interest at this time. And I don't know if you've all noticed that analysis. My name is, although the entity.
You were extremely low audio almost to the point where we could not hear you. I don't know if it's on our end, but would you mind turning up yours and trying one more time, please, for the record?
Can you hear me better now?
Thank you.
Okay, my name's Rayanne Thurber. For the record, there is a perceived conflict of interest. If you notice, one of the EAs, the event analysis, had my name as the supervisor on it, but none of the entries were made by me, and it was still an open investigation, so it was not completed.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I will open it up for discussion, and this could include identifying the aggravating and mitigating factors.
Rebecca Long for the record, I guess I'll start. Can I ask for kind of a quick timeline of why, I guess this occurred in August, and it's been some time and we're now looking at it?
This is Melissa Langbasher for the record. I am filling in for my coworker, Jennifer Lavario. I don't have the best knowledge of what's happening or why there was a delay, but I do know that we have a significant backlog of cases in other disciplines that may have just taken attention away from collecting records and attending to it in a timely manner. I don't have a good answer though for that.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't know if there was something else that came to light more recently than this event in August of 2022.
Committee Chair, this is Les Thomas. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
My question is, I thought I heard, I cannot verify, the investigation was not completed or there was results available?
Are you asking me, Rayanne Thurber?
Anyone that has knowledge, this is Les.
Well, we're just reviewing our records. Again, we're just a little bit slower because Jennifer Lavario actually handled the case and she's in an administrative hearing, so she's unavailable. But we're looking at the records now to be able to provide you with that answer.
Okay, it would be difficult for me to make a decision unless I know the results of the independent investigation based on the information I'm receiving. I'm not saying here or there. I just want to be informed before I make a decision.
Rayanne Thurber for the record, neither one of the event analysis were finished. They were both still open when he left.
This is
Les
Gary
Thomas.
Bell.
Thank you, Ray.
This is Gary Bell. So the question that I have is reviewing the material. I see the department has determined that the conduct being presented to the committee violates the board's moral fitness standards. So my question is, Kathy or someone from the department, are you prepared to share with us your perspective, looking at the material events and the conduct, how you came to that conclusion?
Yeah, we'll give it our best shot. I'll have the case manager first, and then I'll follow up with anything. What I will say is, as we're reviewing the cases, there oftentimes, maybe there's separation before an investigation is completed. In other words, it can happen, at any time during the process. An employee may resign in lieu of, separate before, they've had a chance to do their lateral or name clearing event. And what the department has to look at is, do we have sufficient, information to bring it forward, if we've identified any potential moral fitness. So in this case, when Mr. Hogan separated prior to the completion, the information was enough that we wanted to present it to the committee, regarding the potential moral fitness. And in this case, I think we identified, the impact to the community on, the way the two calls were handled, and, the potential impact for the efficiencies of the agency. And again, I'll, have, the case manager read some of the particular information.
And Melissa Fletcher for the record. And I see that my peer noted that the WCCCA supervisor concludes in her summary of the call with a statement that Hogan continues to berate the caller, missing the signs of domestic violence, who is not free to talk and who is in distress. And DPSST considered that information harm, and that conduct fit under the category of misconduct, which includes conduct that threatens or harms persons, property, or the efficient operation of an agency. We're presenting that to the committee to affirm, modify, or negate.
Captain, for the record, does that, answer your question?
It does, Kathy. Thank you.
Do we have any further discussion?
Rebecca Long for the record. Forgive me for asking this. I should know the answer. If this sort of an investigation were to happen and it were found to be that this occurred and the person was still employed, is there corrective action or training that can be done? Like if that person was still there and then given that opportunity, or would all events like that come straight to this committee for our decision?
If an agency took, action less than, potential termination, I believe it could have been handled, and we would not, handle it, would not have come to us for review.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because it was separation, it then does fall for us to at least review. And on the discretionary cases, which this one was identified as a discretionary, we then bring it forward to the committee for consideration on any of the three potential moral fitness violations.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, there was no, in the case manager's notes, anything else, calling out aggravating and mitigating factors. So if there is no further discussion at this time, I'll at least call for a motion to adopt the staff report, or you can return, to the staff if further information is needed.
Committee Chair, I do have a quick question. It's Les Thomas. Based on whether we adopt or not, is there a decision to be made here, or is just we're adopting this to have on file or on record?
Yes, at this point, you're adopting the staff report as presented. If you felt it was incomplete or you needed further information, then you would ask to return it back to staff.
Thank you.
Gary Bell, I'm prepared to make a motion that we adopt the staff report as presented.
Rhonda Griffin, I second that.
All right,
Roll call.
we are voting on a motion to adopt the staff report. Committee Member Griffin,
Aye.
Committee Member Joyce,
Aye.
Committee Member Antoine,
Aye.
Committee Member Long,
Aye.
Committee Member Thurber,
Aye.
Committee Member Thomas,
Nay.
Committee Member Bell.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Now we can take a call to motion to take action or no action, and also to the committee, you could also amend the motion if you find that there was no misconduct.
Kathy, Gary Bell, I apologize. Can you repeat what you just said? I missed the beginning part of that.
Yes, at this time, we can either take a motion to take action or no action, but also it's within the committee's charge if you do not, we can amend the report if you do not find that there is any misconduct based on our moral fitness standards.
Committee Chair, this is Les Thomas. I would, with not having the information, that's why earlier you heard me say nay. With not having all the information and the results from a true independent investigation, I would not support moving forward with any action. This is my opinion, of course. Based on the information that I received, I would not take any action at this point. If I had more information, I might choose differently, but at this point, with the information I have, I would say no action.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor for no action. Do we have a second?
Rebecca Long for the record. Can I ask a clarifying question as well?
Absolutely.
I believe it was stated earlier, are we allowed to ask questions related to this person's current status? Or are we only to look at things in the report?
Your charge is to look at only thing in the report.
Okay, so current status of someone can't be incorporated.
In public. Can I clarify, are you just asking if Mr. Hogan is currently employed in a public safety agency? Is that your question? I think you might be frozen. Can you hear me?
Kathy, Gary Bell, I can hear you. I don't know what happened to her.
Okay. Mr. Hogan, are you currently employed in the public safety?
In a public safety standard, no.
Thank you. I appreciate that. For the record, Mr. Hogan is advised he's not currently employed in a public safety capacity at this time.
Kathy, this is Gary Bell. I'm sorry, Kathy. This is Gary Bell. In light of the totality of the information that I have in front of me and what has been presented, I'm going to second Mr. Thomas's motion.
Okay, thank you. We have a first and a second. There's no further discussion. We'll do roll call.
All right, we are voting on a motion to take no action. Committee Member Griffin,
Aye.
Committee Member Joyce,
Aye.
Committee Member Antoine,
Aye.
Committee Member Long.
Aye.
Committee Member Thurber,
Aye.
Committee Member Thomas,
Aye.
and Committee Member Bell.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Good, thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you, Board.
The second case we'll be reviewing is Mr. Sly, and he's present, so we'll just take a minute to bring him into the building. Mr. Sly?
Yes.
Oh, you can have a seat up front. Appreciate it.
Oh, there we go.
You can say yes. Okay, at this time, I will have the professional standards case manager introduce the case.
Melissa Lancaster for the record. I'm filling in for my peer Jennifer Rosario and presenting this case. The department opened a professional standards case for Ernest Sly after being notified that he had resigned from the Oregon State University Department of Public Safety during an investigation into mishandling of a dispatch call. And the department reviewed the records obtained and determined that his conduct during the dispatch call threatened harm to the officers of the OSU DPS, the students and the staff at OSU, and threatened the efficient operations of an agency.
Okay, thank you. At this time, Mr. Sly, you have 5 minutes to present any mitigating factors that you want the committee. The clock will start when you begin speaking. So the floor is all yours, sir.
Okay. Anyways, my name is Ernest Sly. I do go by Rob, so a lot of people know me as that. And I've reviewed everything about this case. And I was not aware at the time I was working at OSU that there was an internal investigation going on. I discovered afterwards. I do know there had been a fact-finding meeting. As I expressed then, and I express now, I'm very apologetic to my coworkers for the confusing information that came out. There were multiple callers, and they were giving me kind of a different myriad of information about where this student that they were concerned about, who was yelling and screaming, where he was located. So I gathered the information best I could. And with that information, I expressed to the officers where we believe the location was. In hindsight, I could have done a better job of collecting the information and disseminating that information to the officers with the consideration that we weren't really too sure based on the callers of where exactly the subject was at the time. So I do feel very bad that I would never put an officer in harm's way. I would never care to put any students in harm's way or anyone else. In hindsight, I look back at it though, and I do feel badly about how the call ended. Luckily, there were no actual harmful results, but I do realize that they did want to do a fact finding to find out the root causes of all that. So in hindsight, I do feel very apologetic about it. But there was no intent. I'm not the type of person who would intently give bad information for any reason. So I do feel that is not justified saying that I had intent involved here. On a second point, in the application process, I did leave during IA. I did not know there was an IA going on. However, as can be shown with the exhibits that we submitted, I had applied to work with OSP and subsequently been hired. I am employed by Oregon State Police now at this time in their CGIS division. And I applied on October 4th of 2022. This incident occurred October 21st of 2022. My leaving was not to avoid an investigation, as in that piece of paper that shows my application process should show that I was already applying to be with OSP at the time this incident occurred. So I was not leaving for part of that. I do wish to keep my certification. I'm hoping after today that there will not be a revocation. As I am employed with OSP, even though I am in CGIS, I would like to continue to have a certification so I could transfer over to dispatch if I ever so desired to be able to do that. That's all I have. It's kind of short and simple there.
That's all right. Thank you
very much.
Appreciate that. With that, then I will open it up for discussion. Again, discussions should include identifying the aggravating and mitigating factors.
Kathy, this is Gary Bell. I'm willing to share some thoughts that I have. In reviewing the materials that I have, and then after listening to Mr. Sly, I believe that there has clearly been identified some performance-based issues, and particularly on at least that one incident. But I'm having a difficult time making the connection to moral fitness in terms of his conduct or maybe lack of adequate performance. I think, and maybe some of the other committee members may weigh in, but I don't see where he violated any laws. I recognize the potential threat or harm to coworkers, with inaccurate or lack of enough detailed information, and potentially the efficient operations of the agency. But I just don't see the connection there. I think that the entirety of the circumstance likely could have been handled through performance-related issues. But those are some thoughts that I have. And I do think that, some of that, could be categorized in mitigating information in terms of, I think primarily through my lens anyway, I see performance-based issues, not necessarily moral fitness. So just some thoughts, interested in what others may have to say.
Rebecca Long for the record. I agree with Chief Bell. I think this is something that Mr. Sly has recognized. He's reflected on. He's trying to repair. This could be easily corrected action. He's taking responsibility for what happened. He's, as another mitigating piece, he's here today, despite not needing this for his current employment. He has retained representation for himself, so he's very motivated to ensure that he's doing all the corrective measures that he needs to. So I agree. I don't see any outlying moral fitness issues here.
Hello, this is
Thank
Lance
you.
Thomas. I agree with both statements wholeheartedly. And also I'd like to make a personal statement about the role of dispatchers, telecommunications persons. Every day they receive these calls. It's sometimes stressful. And to echo what Chief Bell says, it appears it may be an issue of training or additional, additional training to support improvement upon this person. And also I stand by what Ms. Long said too, is it takes a lot to stand up in front of everyone and admit that, yes, maybe I can improve. And I do support at this time, if no one else has anything to say, I would support no action.
Okay, at this time, if there's no further discussions, I'll call for a motion to adopt the staff report.
Gary Bell, I will make that motion to adopt the staff report as presented.
Rebecca Long, I will second that.
And we have a first and a second, roll call.
All right, voting on a motion to adopt the staff report, Committee Member Griffin,
Aye.
Committee Member Joyce,
Aye.
Committee Member Antoine,
Aye.
Committee Member Long,
Aye.
Committee Member Thurber,
Aye.
Committee Member Thomas,
Aye.
and Committee Member Bell.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, is there any further discussion before we move to take a motion? Seeing none, then I call for a motion to either take action or no action.
Les Thomas for the record, I would make a motion, we take no action, please.
Rhonda Griffin for the record. I second that.
Okay, we have a motion to take no action, first and second, roll call.
Voting on a motion to take no action, Committee Member Griffin,
Aye.
Committee Member Joyce,
Aye.
Committee Member Antoine,
Aye.
Committee Member Long,
Aye.
Committee Member Thurber,
Aye.
Committee Member Thomas,
Aye.
and Committee Member Bell.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Slack, appreciate it.
And thank you all very much for your time and your consideration in this matter.
McAlpin for the record, we'll move on to agency updates. I do have both deputy directors available. Should you have any questions, it's a brief one as Director Castle was unfortunate, he wasn't able to make it. Things of note that I thought you might want to know is we currently have a telecommunication class going on right now. I know that you're all in the virtual world, but we have a full capacity building right now. Again, the call was to have more law enforcement classes. This is our third 60-person class that's going on now as well. So we're at capacity. But I do want to let you know that we are scheduling another telecommunications class in spring, and then we'll monitor and see if there needs to be one in fall. Also, at this time, we do have the short legislative session that we're monitoring to see if there is any potential things that DPSST should know. And with that, that's a very short, brief update. Again, I'll look to both deputy directors if there's anything else I'm missing. Seeing none, unless the committee has any other questions, that is the agency update. Okay, seeing none, then our next committee meeting will be May 1st at 9 a.m. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Good to see you, Chief Bell and Rhonda.
Thank you.